a.m. My name is Ruth Usman, and I'm being joined, as always, on the program today by Keke Igadokure. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hope you had a good night.
Yes.
All right, so on X-Ray, we always look at trending issues and we talk about them as they affect us as a people. Well, the first story we will be focusing on X-Ray today has to do with the repatriation of quite a number of Nigerians as they have been received back home. There are about 493 of them, Nigerians that have been evacuated from Libya with a vow to unveil a rehabilitation plan to soothe their pains after their harrowing experience in the North African country. That's according to the federal government. Now, more than 5,700 Nigerians are expected to be evacuated from Libya in the next 2 weeks. The federal government has also pledged to rehabilitate and train the returnees on skills to enable them cater for themselves and live a profitable life like other Nigerians. The government has also called on the returnees that are made of mostly young men and women to use their experience in Libya to educate other youths in the country on the dangers of embarking on such hazardous journey. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, while receiving the returnees in Port Harcourt, assured them of federal government's good plans for them. Well, this is coming, as expected. I mean, from last year, we were told that plans were being put in place to ensure that I think a total of about 5,700 Nigerians should be returned back home from Libya, as we have, a large exodus of Nigerians going over to that country. One of the things that I know many Nigerians will focus on their return especially is how to reintegrate them into the society. I mean, many of them have had terrible experiences that we cannot begin to even talk about. But then it looks like the government, is also in tandem with this idea, as it is talking about including them, in plans that will help them to regain, their footing, get their footing back in the country. What do you think about it?
Well, it's very good. It's positive. At least the Nigerians that have been trapped in Libya for one reason or the other are beginning to return home. And this is positive to me. And I think the federal government is highly responsible in this act. Because when we hear about the stories and the issues surrounding our fellow Nigerians in those places in Libya, bringing them home is a plus. And then one of the things is again that we realized and discovered is because most of those the returnees are those who are from Edo State. Most of them are from Edo State and some other states across the country. They have been able to identify that this group of persons come majorly from this part of the nation too. The government of that state too have engaged itself in different kinds of rehabilitation for the people who are returning. Like the state governor have, by the end of the day, it has now placed some people on some, stipends, monthly stipends. And then, some of them too have one kind of skill or the other. If you interview a lot of them, you hear them say, somebody said I should come and work in a salon. Somebody said I should come and do this. And so some of them have skills, all right, before they decided to embark on going out of the country. So for those of them who have skills, I think they should identify them and then see how they can be assisted and supported to establish one or two small businesses, which I'm sure it should be part of the rehabilitation plan by both the federal government and the state government. And then for those who don't have any kind of skills at all, should also be identified And then because I don't believe that just giving them 20,000 naira stipends, though it's going to help a lot. A lot of people are working and they don't even earn that kind of money. But then if you give them the right skills, if you develop their skills, by the end of the day, because this is Nigeria, though we need to remain positive, but I don't want a situation where after some time, or maybe when government changes hand, those allowances and stipends don't come anymore, and then these people become another problem. So,
but are they supposed to be put on some sort of allowances instead of empowering them to fend for themselves?
Yes, about 4 batches already have been placed on 20,000 naira allowances by the Edo state government anyway. All right. So, but that's what I'm saying.
Is that like the best? Would you advise for that to continue, or instead for them to be put, on the path where they will be able to take care of themselves without necessarily depending on government?
For the immediate, those kind of monies can help them for the immediate to settle down. All right.
Okay.
But then in the long run, what we should be looking at is that kind of development of skills, so that they can begin to, just like this saying that don't give me fish, teach me how to fish. How to fish. So by the end of the day, it's teaching how to fish that will be more beneficial, because a time can come when that money may no longer be there. All right. So even though it's good they're giving them this just for them to settle down, but there's a great need for them to have some sort of skill developed in one way or the other, and which I'm sure both the federal government and Edo State government is doing. But then looking at it, the issue of the returnees, another thing that came to my mind again is that we also should be mindful. There's something that the president said the other time, that look, it's not every black man in Libya or any black man abroad that's a Nigerian. True. Because the numbers of people that are coming, we also should be very careful that we don't bring in other people. Not other people in the sense that we cannot help our neighbors, but then we have issues of ISIS, in Libya too, and some of these African countries. So let's be mindful and ensure that the people that we're bringing in are Nigerians before we allow some people with some ideas infiltrate our societies again. So we should be sure that the people that we're bringing back are actually Nigerians.
Interesting. I think that's really is a great point. Now, talking about, this skills and all that, these are some of the things many Nigerians, each time we bring this topic up, many Nigerians are of the opinion that government is supposed to have created this enabling environment where businesses can thrive, where young ones can have so much, we can have a lot of options on what to do to take care of ourselves. But now, this is basically what government is saying they will do. With focus on these returnees, how do you see them perhaps expanding this to ensure that people don't necessarily begin to go back? Some of these people, who knows, maybe after 1 month, 2 months, and they see that, it's the same old Nigeria, let me go back, perhaps this time will be better. Trust me, some of them could do that, even though the minister here is also advising them to use their stories to, perhaps let it serve as a deterrent to other youths who may want to leave the country. How do you see government really engaging these youths, and not just the ones returning, but all youths?
All Nigerian youths.
All Nigerian youths.
Of course, I think this focus is on them now because of what they have passed through, because of this slavery and illegal migration thing. And that's why the focus is on them. Really, government has been talking about empowering the youth, and they have a lot of programs. But then what we've been saying is that these programs, how have it been very easy for the youths on the street to access these programs? Because we have these beautiful plans and policies, and then by the end of the day, a lot of youths are still going around with envelopes from one street to the other, looking for one kind of job or the other. Right, and then this has created a lot of social problems in the country, youth restiveness and all kinds of things. We have high cases of kidnappers, armed robbers and all that. These are as a result of the social problems created because of unemployment in Nigeria. But of course, government cannot provide jobs for everybody. But then, just like you said, government has the responsibility to create an enabling environment, so that in such a way that some people who may not be able to gain the monthly salary job, you will be able to help themselves and even become employers of labor.
True.
For instance, if we tackle power, for instance, a lot of people may want to open their barbing. A lot of young men may be able to open their barbing salons, or
to even do laundry,
and so many other things. So a lot of people say, okay, give us light, give us power, and leave us alone. We'll create jobs for ourselves and feed ourselves. We don't need your civil service jobs anymore. So, but what we've been having over time is where we spend billions of naira and dollars on power sector, and then people.
Nothing has really ever changed in that sector.
Nothing has really changed, all right? And then the cost of doing business, it's always going up because you need to provide power for yourself. So, but when these environments are in such a way that businesses can thrive, even these people we're talking about will even be employing, labor themselves. So that's the responsibility. I think government should use this opportunity to begin to focus on some of these things that we're talking about. Right, fine. These people have had a lot of very bad experiences, and they need to be rehabilitated, reintegrated into the society. The focus is on them, fine. But then in the long run, what will be their fate? Just like you said, if they spend 1 or 2, 3 months, and then maybe all the promises are not being, given to the other things they promised, probably are not delivered to them, they may begin to look elsewhere. But I think the wise ones should stay back home and think inwards and think of what to do. But thank God, even it's not just the government these days. Even the non-governmental organizations, individuals who are doing well in the society, everybody should come together and see how we can help ourselves as a people, as a nation. Government is overwhelmed, really, with so many things. Though the nation that we have is blessed, and if our resources are managed properly,
we're looking forward to receiving over 5,700 Nigerians from Libya in this particular year. So far, we have just received 493, and let's see how many more will be coming in.
And those who came back said a lot of Nigerians are still trapped in secret camps and slave camps that even maybe we may not even be able to access. We may not even be able to get to these people. So I don't know how we are going to do with those ones, but the ones that we can find, at least let's help them and bring them back. And then you're imagining the figures that we are hearing, then how many Nigerians are in Libya to start with?
Well, let's hope the delegation that's been saddled with the responsibility of evacuating these people, repatriating them back to the country, will be able to find almost all of them, at least all of them, we hope. Now, in another development, the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Bay, says everything has been put in place by the federal government to establish cattle colonies that would solve the continued herdsmen-farmers conflict in parts of the country. He disclosed this in Abuja on Monday, and he said the cattle colonies will provide water, grass, cattle breeding, and training for herdsmen. According to him, the cattle colony project will start immediately following the offer of 5 hectares of land each by 16 states in the country. He noted that Nigerians are getting extremely uncomfortable with the killings and political statements, hence the need to eliminate the conflict by creating the colonies. And I want to ask you a question. What do we mean by these colonies? Are we talking about the suggestion of having ranches, creating ranches?
Well, the minister said it's different from ranching, so I don't know much about the colony, but I think it probably is something a little bigger and more permanent than the ranch.
Well, they'll be giving about 5 hectares, is it? Yeah, 5 hectares of land each. Looking at 16 states, though not mentioned which states, but then 5 hectares of land. that should be a quite a large, wide land area for them to do absolutely anything,
Anything. I
including
think
ranching,
it's
perhaps.
to my thinking, it's positive, because but then we need to educate the herdsmen. All right, when we have beautiful policies or programs like this,
Hmm.
and then the people that we're targeting don't have good understanding of the program or the policy, they will not accept it, and it will not work very well. Now, we need to, when we get serious about creating these colonies, we need to begin to educate our headsmen and let them know that, look, this is for good. When we cut out this expanse of land for you, you'll be able to own this land, and your cattle will be within these places. You don't need to start trekking over long distances and then suffering hunger, thirst. Your cattle's not doing very well. By the time you have this now, your cattle will be able to have good rest, feed well, not move around, not exposed to the harsh weathers the way they are. Your children can even also be go to school, because I'm sure, I mean, we'll begin to develop schools in these colonies where the children of the herdsmen will also be going to. And then, of course, the area of training is very key. I'm sure in the training, they will also let them know how the benefits of these things, and then even how to better take care of their cattle. So by the end of the day, this is a beautiful policy, but we need to understand these policies and be able to deliver the meaning and the benefits of these policies to the herdsmen themselves, so that they will accept it. You know, even where in the states where we have the anti-grazing bills being passed into law, when you look at the bills, they're beautiful, right? The contents are not bad. But then a typical herdsman does not really understand what this is about. So he interprets it as you trying to stop him from his livelihood. You restrict his movement. After all, you know, his grandfathers, his great-great-grandfathers were nomadics in nature. We move around with our crops. How come you're telling us that we should be in one place? But then we are better informed now. Probably we now know that the movement is not too much of the benefit. So if we have researched and we have known that when we have ranches and we put our cattle in one place, we'll have better yields from them. Production, we'll have bigger meat, milk and all that will come. And then even our children will settle down. Instead of them, you know, traveling under rain and sun, they will be able to, you know, minimize that kind of movement. That is healthy life for them. They will be able to create schools for them in these various colonies, where they can also access even education, which by the end of the day, their lives will be better. So we need to interpret and let the herdsmen understand exactly what the benefits of these colonies is for them.
Well, usually, I mean, it's this is something that has been going on. We're not talking about just the previous administration. We're not talking about this administration alone. It's something. It's an issue that has existed in Nigeria for so long. Why is it that as a people we don't attack situations, before it escalates? This issue is not just from last administration, I mean, or just this, like I said. But then now we are bringing this plan. Where is it coming from all of a sudden? Like all this while, why didn't we do all of this? Do we have to lose lives before we address issues?
That's the problem that we have, and I will keep saying that, this fire brigade way of doing things all the time, and then and in our security, like we always say on this program, we always wait until it happens before we react. The herdsman farmer clash has been ongoing for like decades and decades and decades. But it's still okay if we attack the roots. We're talking about the root cause of these problems yesterday, and we said until we attack it from the roots, we cannot end it. It's not enough for there's a clash here and then people are killed, and then you send military officers and then police and then civil defense to go and guard the place. Meanwhile, you have not solved the problem yet. By the time the security agents leave these areas, what happens? This problem continues again. But then now that they want to ranch or create colonies for the herdsmen, if we are able to achieve that, And then that movement, the problem is that movement. Both the farmer and the herdsman needs the land, the crops, and the water. So
they all have their rightful place in society. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yes.
We need each, of them. We need the
Yes.
farmer, we need the herdsman and the herds, of course. But then how do we get them to not be in conflict at all times?
Yeah, that's what the federal government is trying to resolve, and that's what all Nigerians should put heads together to come up with ideas and resolve. All right. So if we do not end this kind of clashes, we're going to have serious issues of food insecurity in Nigeria. Because when the farmers are no longer going to the farm, and then the herdsmen are no longer safe rearing their cattle, where are we going to get meat? Where are we going to get the rice and the yams that we're getting? Where are we going to get food? We need both the protein, and from the meat, and then so we depend on each other. These two are very key for us as a people. All right. So it is time for us. It's not too late yet.
Okay, so better late than never.
Yes, exactly.
All right, then. We will continue to follow these stories and see where, it eventually ends. And hopefully it ends very well for all of us as a people. However, you can call in and let's get to hear your own contribution as it concerns these two stories, looking at the repatriation of some Nigerians from Libya, as well as the developing story on government providing colonies for herdsmen. What is your take on the current situation? Call the number 081-8999-1011. That is 081-8999-1011. Remember to turn off your radio when you do call in. Hello?
Hello. Good morning, everyone for the studio.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, my name is Solomon. I'm calling from Life Camp.
Okay, please go ahead.
Let me quickly talk about the Fulani men. Now they are talking where to give them so that for them to stay. They have not talking about the people that they have killed, the millions of people that they kill. That is to show that we are not united. That is to show that we are not one Nigerian. Because I don't see a country where we say people go they kill people as human beings, and then they are talking another different thing. Nobody is talking about.
Hello, Solomon.
Solomon, okay. I don't think you're right if you said nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Even the president has come.
Because I actually wanted to ask him. I mean, if for instance, creating and providing these colonies will bring an end to future crisis, I think that's the government taking a step in the right direction. No one is saying it didn't. What happened did not happen. Yes. Because that's why we're having these conversations as well, and then ensuring that the colonies come into existence. I want to believe it's also like a way of forestalling future occurrence.
Yeah, those who have been killed, investigations are ongoing, and directives have been given here and there that they should be fished out and punished according to the law. So those who have done these things are not let free yet. The investigations are going on from what we're told, and those who will be found guilty as connected to these killings all across the country, we expect them to be brought to the book.
Okay. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. I can hear you. What's your name?
My name is Abdurrahman. I'm from Tako.
Please go ahead, Abdurrahman.
Please, it's a welcome development. If the government should make it possible to arrange Fulani herdsmen in a place that they can feed themselves, I think it's a very good development. That's my case. Thank you very much.
All right, Abdurrahman, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. 081-8999-1011. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you so very much. My name is Kingsley, and I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, I'm listening, Kingsley.
All right. I want to talk about the issue of the colony that is being given to the Fulani herdsmen.
Okay.
All right. We need to also, whenever we are trying to solve problems, we need to also take a look at the other side, the injured side and the people who have been hurt as well. Okay. Now, I've been hearing a lot of stories. People say the Fulani person hardly forgives anybody, or hardly forgets things, okay? Now, these are lives that were lost. We lost a lot of life in Benue State. Do we not think that these people too have a heart in their heart? Do we not think that these people too have a way of wanting to get vengeance for the lost lives and the loved ones that they have lost thus far?
Okay, Kingsley, as much as I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, at the same time, we would not want to say or do anything that would bring about, a repeat of what had happened, or for someone to feel like, okay, I have to, revenge and retaliation and all that. Okay, I'm not saying, maybe people who were dead or who lost their lives, I mean, they don't matter. Of course they do. But then at this point, can we focus on the way forward?
Okay, well, I also heard about the fact that 16 states are involved in this, okay? I think it still goes back to what your guest said, okay? Let those guys be educated, because if you're providing a colony for people who don't even know the purpose of the colony you're giving to them, it's just like pouring water on an empty basket. It keeps pouring away, okay? So they need to be educated, they need to be informed, they need to be told what they are being given is for. But it won't lead to them also disturbing the peace of other people, when it comes to the issues surrounding what they do, okay? So I think proper education is very important for that. And I think if we can do that, then at least we'll have a step way ahead, okay? Yeah.
All right, Kingsley, appreciate your contribution.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. You have a lovely day.
You too. Okay, 08189991011. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Sunday. I'm
Okay.
calling from central area, Abuja here.
All right, Sunday, please go ahead.
Yeah, please, I want to talk about the issue of the returnees from Libya. Please, I think the state government should as well assist the federal government by being productive in their various states, so that to reduce the rate of unemployment in the street. And that one, it will go a long way, at least for someone or people who will be busy, will have something doing and keep themselves busy, in order not to reflect their mind back to where they were coming from. Secondly, the issue of ranches or colonies. I think if you are trying to give somebody something that is more valuable, that is very important, it takes by the grace of God, unless the person knows the value of what you are giving him, the person will not appreciate it. But when the person knows what you are giving him, I believe he will appreciate it. By developing these colonies, most of them, like we know, every average Fulani man knows that culture, it has been part of every society. You can't do without culture. And they believe that, they say that culture is the way of life of people. So they believe that carrying kettles from one area to another, that is the only thing they know. They did not believe on sitting on one place, and rear their kettles. No, they believe in moving from one point to another. So it needs a lot of sensitization and awareness for them to be able to understand what the government is trying to put in place for them.
Okay.
So I believe the people need a sort of awareness in the first place before the colonies will be established. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much for your contribution there. 08189991011. Hello.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Peter.
Peter from Kubwa.
Yeah.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes, I believe this is number one step forward. This ranking of the team, I believe number one thing that will solve the problem. You know, thinking someone what you don't believe.
Okay, Peter, I'm finding it difficult to understand what you're saying. Can you speak up, please?
Okay. I said it's a record development now.
Okay.
Before they have to invest in so many. You know?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let them educate the Fulani. Let them just tell them one or two about what they are trying to do for them. It's just getting out of hand. It's a welcome development. I believe it's not the issue. That is my own opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. He says it's a welcome development and they should be informed of exactly what benefits they stand to gain. Hello?
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. What's your name?
Ibrahim speaking. I call from but I'm living in Abuja now.
I didn't get your name, please.
Ibrahim Umar is my name.
Okay.
I'm living in Niger State.
Okay.
But no.
All right. Please go ahead.
I'm hearing what you people are talking about the Fulani people and the farmers.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So the problem is that the majority people that are talking about farmers they have problem. Majority people are talking that Fulani they have problem. But in my own, it's like government have the problem because what I'm saying is if Fulani any promoting to distance or to government, they will take action in the term. But even our state, there are some Fulani that they to go, they to enter bush with their weapons. When we talk with them, they will draw their weapons on the road and show you so that it's coming. So, and then there are certain things that they are doing to them. So that's why I'm calling you now to let you know. What those people they are doing is very, very dangerous. And it's not support them to do this. So please, let government know about this problem that all these problems that is happening now is there.
Okay, Ibrahim, thank you very much. Not all the things he said, though, were clear. However, we are running out of time at this point. So let's just have your final thoughts on these issues as discussed.
We don't need to trade blames anymore. What has happened has happened. If we can move ahead and treat these issues, tackling it from the root, and then bring ourselves in such a way that both the farmer and the herdsman can comfortably move around without fear of being attacked by one another. I think we need to preach love. And with these colonies and even those states where we already are establishing ranches, we need to educate the people, like I've been saying. Let them know the benefits. Like we said, change is not very easy. What you're used to is not very easy for you to just stop or change to another way. But if our forefathers were doing it this way, and we now have better enlightenment on how to better do things, I think we can also change. So let's come together as one. And then the herdsmen have leaders. They should be used to begin to educate their people from this point before these colonies are even established. I think we'll get there.
All right. And that's it on X-Ray today. Thank you so much to everyone who has been a part of it, to those who called in and those who were unable and those who are still trying to call in. Sorry, we cannot pick any more calls now. And thanks to Oikeke Igadokure for also being with us on X-Ray today.
Thank you.
We'll make a return tomorrow. Do stay with us on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I'll be back in the 10 o'clock hour on Pro Bono Chambers. Stay with us.